Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our show. It's called Tournament Horse Racing. My name is Rich Sharp. I'll be your host for tonight's episode. Here's what we've done. We've taken the horse racing calendar, we've broken it up into four separate horse racing tournaments throughout the year. Each one of those horse racing tournaments consists of 10 individual racing days, and that's actually what you're going to watch tonight is one of those individual racing days, which consist of four races at a select track from around the country. We usually pick, one of the better tracks around the country. Each of our horse players will then go ahead and place a mythical $2 win place bet in each one of those four races. Simply put, whoever wins the most money wins that tournament horse racing day. We keep track throughout the entire 10 racing days. Whoever wins the most money throughout the entire tournament wins that tournament, and we keep track throughout the entire year. So we even have a year-end champion, but we end up with four individual tournament champions. You're watching. We're closing in on the end of the summer stakes. It's actually been a really exciting tournament for us here, and we'll be going into our fourth tournament, our final tournament of the year, and that's all I have to say here about tournament horse racing. Let me go ahead and introduce you to our horse players. They're in no particular order, but all the way on the other side of the country. He lives in Staten Island, New York. He is my good friend as well. Ray Torado, how's life been treating you, my friend?
Yeah, happy Labor Day, guys.
Oh yeah,
Life's
happy
been
Labor Day.
good. Work's picked up with the month end has been in accounting, so
Oh
busy
yeah.
as hell. And now, so next week we're gonna have school starting, so the kids can get them to school. So you know, we'll be busy, but this is what the end of the Saratoga Del Delmar meeting, so we have to move to new tracks after the summer. But life is good. No, that's a good horse. Life is good.
No, it reminds me that to go ahead and set up for our final tournament of the year. That's actually the Road to the Breeders' Cup, and
Yeah.
I will admit, folks, I have not gotten that one up this year. I've been a little bit out of sync with Bloodhorse.com, which is who provides the schedule for us here on Tournament Horse Racing. All right, I've got another horse player to introduce you to. He's all the way over here on my side of the country. He lives just a little bit to the north of me in Menifee, California. He is also a very good friend of mine, Steve Newsom. How's life treating you?
Oh, not too bad. Got looking forward to my daughters, my two oldest daughters coming out this weekend. So
Oh, nice. How cool.
yeah,
Enjoy that
it'll be
extra
good
day
fun.
off. Yeah, the 3-day weekend. You know,
Yeah.
got that wonderful text message from my boss today. It said, "Hey, why don't you take off and enjoy the extended weekend?" I
Mm.
appreciate that. So. All right, we do have a fourth horse player. His name is. He has not joined us as of this point in time. Hopefully, once he gets on, we will have our fourth player as well. But before I get started, I do have just a quick disclaimer, and that is that Steve, Ray, Joe, and myself, we're all horse players who love the game of horse racing. We do this show on a weekly basis because we love the game of horse racing. We are not selling our picks. We are not most certainly not endorsing our picks in any means tonight. We just love the game of horse racing. We hope you do too. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen with you. And that'll bring you up to date on what happened last week here on Tournament Horse Racing. And actually, let me step over for a second. I'm actually getting a message from my iPhone and it's connecting to my headset. So I don't want to end up talking over you guys. Hold on one second. And this way I can just stay with you. I apologize for that. All right, and what you're looking at here is our racing form that is provided for you to us by Brisnet.com. This is the form we'll be using tonight as we go through. That's up here, Brisnet.com. As we go through all of our picks and as we do all of our handicapping, we do it with Brisnet.com. It's called the Handicapper's Edge. Obviously, it's available for you at Brisnet.com. I will tell you if you are a member of a website that does betting, such as TwinSpires.com, this exact same form. That's where I get mine from. I happen to know that's where Ray and Steve also get theirs from, as far as this one's concerned. If you have an account with TwinSpires.com, the only requirement is that you make a bet on the races or one race at the track that you're at. So, for instance, for Del Mar Day, you could pick the favorite in one of those races and bet them to show and you get that racing form for free. So we will come right back to that form in just a second here. Let's go ahead and start off with what happened last week, and that was at Saratoga racetrack that was up there in New York. And excuse me, let me go ahead and change our speaking terms here. I
Mm.
have to get that set up correctly. And yeah, I've been chasing Steve the entire tournament here. So I've been trying to track down Mr. Newsom the entire time. It appears that I finally has gotten my step up here in Saratoga. Steve, believe it or not, Steve, this was actually fun until we got to those last two races and things like that. We kind
Right.
of,
Yeah. Yeah.
as you can see, you were a little bit ahead of me, and I kind of closed the gap, and then you
Yep.
took back the lead, and finally I was able to overcome you. I did put up a fairly good day. There were $38.80 on the 4 bets, and then let's go ahead and we'll move over here to our summary for the quarter, and that has me moving past Steve down the home stretch. We've just got 2 tournaments to go, and that gives me my third tournament victory on the Summer Stake Series. We are going to be at Del Mar Racetrack. That's one of our favorite racetracks, and this is one of my favorite race days of the year. The TVG Pacific Classic. If Joe was here, I would augment with the fact that he and I have gone to the TVG Pacific Classic on several occasions. It's one of the best races of the year here in Southern California, and indeed all the way across the country. And then we're going to come right back. We will have a special episode here of Tournament Horse Racing that finishes out the season. On Monday, Saratoga and Del Mar will split them, the generous portion and the Tranquility Stakes, along with the Bernard Baruch and the Hopeful, the generous portion of the Tranquility. That's at Del Mar Racetrack. And then the Bernard Baruch and the Hopeful will be from Saratoga Stakes. And that concludes the Summer Stakes Series for us. And then we will be heading into our next horse racing tournament. And that one is indeed called the Road to the Breeders' Cup. And as I said, I got a little bit out of sync with bloodhorse.com this year, but I'll get that schedule up for us really quickly. And that's what it looked like last week. We are going to Del Mar, California. I wouldn't even bring this up considering that it's September and going into Labor Day weekend. But I did get caught in a torrential downpour this afternoon. I don't know if that happened to Steve.
Me
as
too. I was
well, but
barbecuing fish out on the patio, and
yeah,
it starts pouring. I'm like, oh,
thought
jeez.
maybe we were at Staten Island or in Saratoga or God forbid Florida, but suddenly out of nowhere it was just, I mean, absolute downpour here in Southern California. So I will let you know that Del Mar Racetrack tomorrow, they are looking at a potential of 24% chance of rain. It still looks like a pretty good day, right, Steve? 75 degrees.
Yeah. There's like a 20% chance of isolated thunderstorms from the National Weather Service.
Normally a
So,
perfect
yeah.
place to be, but in this day and age, who knows? All
If
right,
you get wet, it ain't gonna last long.
it won't last long.
Well,
There you go.
last week, let me tell you, last week I had torrential storms leaving the house. When I got up there, it was cloudy. Then the sun came out. Then the rains came, and then the sun came out again. It was actually so hot that I went under in the building with my chair just to get away from the sun. And then it started to rain, and everybody started coming to me, bombarding me in my space. And then they went back out after the sun came out again. So I had every chance of weather last
Every
week
type of weather with it, yeah.
at the Travis. Oh man.
It's funny.
All right. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the first race in our 4-race sequence tonight. Again, we do 4 races here on Tournament Horse Racing. There's going to be a mythical $2 win and place bet placed in each of the races by each of the horse players. The post time tomorrow is 8:07 Eastern and 5:07 Pacific time for race number 8. They are
Oh
going
wow.
1 mile on the main surface. Yeah, I know, right? A little bit late in the day, huh?
Hmm.
It is the Torrey Pine Stakes, a grade 3. Purse is $150,000 for filly 3-year-olds only, and your morning line favorite is there in post number 9. Her name is Faiza, trained by Bob Baffert and ridden by Flavian Pratt, and she is 8-5 on the Del Mar morning line. And as is our tradition here on Tournament Horse Racing, when you go into these final tournaments or the tournaments, as this one turns out to be, the leader has to go first, so that we can avoid any kind of blocking on my behalf. And I did not go with the favorite, although she looks really, really solid considering she's won 5 out of 6 in her lifetime and always in the money. She's going to be very, very short tomorrow. I saw this horse having this race, excuse me, having quite a bit of speed. There looked like there was an abundance of speed, so I tried to look for a closer. I hit this horse in her opening race, so Justique down there at Del Mar last year. I did have her, big Justify fan. The horse did cost $725,000. She's got Mike Smith and trained by John Sheriffs. So that's a nice, combination, regardless of what the percentages are. She's been beaten by Faiza twice. In one of them, doesn't really have any excuses. And the other one, maybe a little bit of traffic trouble might have cost her some, but she's never really gotten close before. I'm hoping that today, with the again an abundance of speed and a little bit of a closing style and being there on the rail, that Mike Smith is going to go ahead and be able to get her back into the winner's circle. So I went ahead and went with the 1, and I believe, Steve, that puts you in the number 2 position.
Oh, I don't have to do an audible at least. No, I'm going with the 10, Ceiling Crusher.
She can fly. I saw her.
What's that?
She can fly. This horse can flat
Yeah,
out. This
yeah,
she can cook, and she's got Elvin Maldonado aboard too.
yeah. Just looking at her speed figures there. April, May, she had a 95 and a 99. Goes on a layoff, comes back last race, runs a 90. So I think she due for a bump. So going a little bit longer distance might help a bit too, going back to a route. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Ceiling Crusher here, get back on a winning streak at 3-1. Right?
Well, yeah, it's just very, very tough to bypass Phaser, but
Mhm.
for the position I'm in, Phaser didn't do me any good. So, I'm taking a chance here. Number 4, Coffee in Bed. This horse hasn't gone the mile. This is probably yeah, first time 2 turns, first time stake race. She's been in the 9 winners of 1. But you know what? Her figures are improving. She's out of curling, so I expect another furlong from her. Another, yeah, will definitely, do her pretty good. And she probably stalk a little bit. She'll be close to her pace. She's got 1 win, maiden win, but her last race is pretty good. Third as a favorite, stumbled a little bit. So I'm thinking, second race Del Mar, stretch out to a mile. Maybe she'll do a little better. 12-1. I expect a little higher than that, unless the Hernandez clan, the fans, start betting on him. But I'll take 10-1. Hopefully, and if the horse can win well. So coffee in bed for me. I don't drink coffee, but you know, I'll
Jeez.
silly take one. So
Just say,
um,
Lord have mercy. How have we been made
uh,
friends all these years and you don't drink coffee?
um,
You don't drink coffee?
no,
Wow.
Just
no coffee.
looks like
Hot
continence.
chocolate, tea, soda. That's my caffeine.
All right. So there we go. We'll just go ahead and place those picks in for us. And again, hopefully Joe's going to join us and we'll get his picks in with us as well. I apologize for the strolling.
How about
We'll go
mocha
ahead.
frap? I like those.
There you go. Hey,
Is
yeah.
that close? Close to it?
It
The
doesn't count.
Starbucks. Fake coffee.
You said you took like cream and sugar in your coffee. Okay, that's fine.
Nah,
Mhm.
not whipped cream and chocolate.
No.
Uh,
Uh, just kidding. Whatever. It's each their own.
I'm type 2 diabetic. I gotta calm down on those things. Maybe one a week
Yeah.
for a little fizz.
All right, here we go. The next race in our 4-race sequence. This is race number 9. They're going 5 furlongs on the turf. It is the Green Flash handicap, the Grade 3. Purse is $150,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite is out there in post number 8, and his name is Motorious. Trained by Phil D'Amato and written by Umberto Rispoli. He's a tasty 4-1 on the Del Mar morning line. That's just a great
Mm,
booking, right? I mean,
Right.
I did
14
not.
horse field.
I did not go that way, but it has nothing to do with the odds. I mean, the horse looks fantastic, but I did go. Believe it or not, Steve, I won the name play here. John Lane, our good friend there over there
Yeah.
at I'm sitting across the table from him. I'm handicapping with him. We're
Mm,
yapping about the garden that he keeps there, which is called Lane Garden, and there's a
um, look at the
pathway.
owners.
All right, yeah, there's a pathway that goes right down the middle of it. You could call it laneway if you want, but I've had less obvious
Oh goodness.
I've had less obvious things thrown at me. So this is a 6-year-old. He's also trained by Richard Mandela and ridden by Mike Smith, and they happen to hit at 38% together. Very nice number there. If you look here, the horse does have a history here at Del Mar. Only one win in 5 tries, but 4 out of 5 in the money. And at the distance, 2 starts and 2 seconds so far there here at the sprint. And then if you look down here, has a good pattern coming in this one. A lot of firsts and seconds. As a matter of fact, only firsts and seconds over his last 6 races. Coming into this one again, buy into Mischief, and of course this is the grand prize for us every year and like that. But this is my racehorse horse.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Hey, one of ours.
one of us could have had this particular horse
Where's my hat?
had I picked one by now and things like that. But unfortunately, that would have been a few years ago. But again, Lane Way, a nameplate based on a friend of mine, but also based on a lot of the information that's here around the racing forum that you get to see that's given to us by Brisnet.com. So I'm going to hand it off to Steve. Who do you like? In the Green Flash. And the Green Braille back there, the Green Flash could fly himself.
Yeah, well, I mean, keeping with that speed name type thing, I like the 3. Turn on the Jets.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Green Flash, turn on the Jets. The Jets are green. Football season coming up. Whatever.
There we go.
We got all kinds of stuff going on here, but that's not why I picked this horse. I picked this. The last 3 times this horse has run 5 furlongs on the turf, it's won. So that's one of the main reasons why I picked this horse.
3 for 3 at Del Mar.
Good competitive speed figures. 6-1. Got Phil D'Amato and Hector Barrios winning at 50% on 8 races. So I'm going on with Turn on the Jets here at 6-1 there. Ray?
Oh, I'm a little outside of you. Number 5, Beer Can Man. He also has a good Del Mar record, 3 out of 4. Yeah, we like these horses for courses, right? Don't we?
I thought it was a nameplay again.
I like the name.
Big Can, yeah. 3 for 4, like 5 furlongs too, 6 out of 9 in the distance. 7 out of 15, he likes to win. At least almost half his races. So second race off a layoff. So a lot of positives here. Just a matter of him increasing his figures a little bit. He's been in the mid 90s, so this race will probably take about that 98. So he'll be close to elite, which I like. Basically you want to be close because 5 furlongs is kind of short. But sure, it might be a hot pace. I just hope he doesn't burn out. So, but I've heard about the Little Red Feathers racing. They do pretty well out there. Phil D'Amato, and my own Ramon Vasquez. So, Beer Can Man for me.
All right.
6-1.
Okay. 36. And once again, nauseous on me here as I scroll through these all. This is the feature. Race number 10, going 1.25 miles on the main track. It is the FanDuel Racing Pacific Classic Stakes. It is a grade 1. The purse is $1 million for 3-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite is right here. He's shown up on this show a couple of times already. He's trained by Richard Mandela and ridden by Mike Smith. Go Rocket Ride is 5-2 on the Del Mar morning line. And again, I didn't go with the favorite, even though I love that horse. He's been one of my favorite 3-year-olds this year. I went outside. I went for the 7 horse. This is a horse who I have liked and who I did pick in the last race. He got beat by Steve, who had Senior Buscador in that particular race. And I still believe that Slowdown Andy was probably the better horse. He just got beat by a trip. Hopefully they won't go that fast this time. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to the same well just one more time. It's not like I'm going outside here. Doug O'Neill, ridden by Mario Gutierrez. This is Redham Racing. So this is that Redham Racing combination. The sire is Nyquist. So it's not like I'm going outside of my comfort zone as far as this horse is concerned. And I have bet him a couple of times. As you can see there, he's got losses to horses like Cody's Wish, Cyberknife, Zandon, White Abarrio. He's proven. Country Grammar is on there. Just as an idea, who Slow Down Andy is at 8-1. I'm going to go ahead and take one more poke with the horse who I really like. So I went with the 7 horse Slow Down Andy. Steve, who do you like?
Well, I'm going back to an old favorite here. I kind of copped out on this one after my head was spinning after the first 2 races, handicapping them. So I went with the 5 here, Defunded.
That's your horse, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I went back to an old favorite.
Oh,
He had a couple. Well, he had a couple of those.
Santa Anita Derby got you the
I didn't
gold.
pick
He
him
beat
the last time
Messier.
out,
Remember?
you know, but
He got you home the title, baby.
but no, coming again, he's his second time out off a layoff. Bob Baffert's 34%. Of course, the jockey trainer combination with him and Juan Hernandez is
Just insane.
48% in 29 races right now. It's crazy. Defunded's won a couple times here at Del Mar. Doesn't have a great record here at Del Mar, but has won a couple times. And has been on the pay line and at the distance 3 times out. So yeah, I'm gonna go with I'll stand by here, Defunded, 4-1. So Ray?
You know what's funny about that horse? Just look at the PPs. The last year he went from San Diego Handicap back to a sprint, the Pat O'Brien. This year he goes from San Diego Handicap to stretch it out. So that's interesting. He'll definitely be a factor in that race. Definitely. I went way on the outside as I can. Number 11, Skinner.
Whoa.
10-1. He's a 3-year-old. I know a few 3-year-olds have won.
Yeah.
Actually went out there for a Pacific Classic one way back when the horse called Came Home one. So, Skinner, haven't seen him, since July, and he won the Low Style Derby for the second to reincarnate. It was a pretty decent 3-year-old. Ran in the Santino Derby, finished third. He was closing a little bit, so I know this horse is begging for more distance, and the Monaco might be up his alley. He's only been off, 6, 7 weeks, so he might be a little fresh. Working out pretty good, so at 10-1, I know Hector Barrios having a good meet, so be nice to be on the outside, see what's going on with the race, and he'll probably be mid-pack, 4, 5, 6 lengths behind, and hopefully they can make a run. So Skinner for me, Hector Barrios, and John Sherrill, so those famous CRK stable.
Okay. He's up for us.
Oh.
And finally, our finale is race number 11. They are going 1 mile and 3/8 on the turf course. This is the Del Mar Handicap, presented by the Japan Racing Association. It's a grade 2. The purse is $300,000 for 3-year-olds and upward. And your morning line favorite is out there in post number 10. It's Gold Phoenix. Hold on one second. Trained by Phil D'Amato and ridden by Juan Hernandez, is 3-1 on the Del Mar morning line. And one last time for me in that first position. And normally we don't do this again. This is just because we've gotten to the end of the season and to avoid me blocking anybody else. I'm going to start off with Awfully Naughty, trained by Michael McCarthy and ridden by Umberto Rispoli. The horse is 5-1 on the morning line. So again, staying away from those favorites. Just 1 for 4 so far here at Del Mar Racetrack. The horse had come into that last race, which was the San Juan Capistrano. It looks like he just keeps getting. They just kept trying him at longer and longer distances. He was at a mile and a quarter, then a mile and a half, mile and 3/4. I thought for sure, Ray, they're going to put him into that 2 mile race that you guys have out there at Belmar at some point in time. And it looks like the mile and 3/4 was finally where he said, you know what, that's just maybe a little bit too long for me. Let's dial this back. He did get beat by a horse that's going to be in this race, Planetario, who also looks very solid. But prior to that, had won at a mile and a quarter and at a mile and a half. Um, it's kind of a specific skill, this long distance running on the turf, and awfully naughty seems to have shown it as a closer. Also, if you look back here, again, this is a turf race. You've heard me say it on this show for years and like that. I do love those California horses that are racing in California that are coming off of the turf from the East Coast. And then this horse, when first tried here in California, did exactly what you would expect those kind of horses to do, which is won both the first 2 races before it came up just maybe a bit short there, going a mile and 3/4 at the San Juan Capistrano. So I've got the 6, awfully naughty. Steve, who do you like in the finale?
Well, the 6 was my first choice, but I'm gonna drop down to my second choice here and take the 10, Gold Phoenix.
No, there we go.
Yeah, another Phil D'Amato horse with Juan Hernandez on board as a jockey. Horse likes to come from behind. Won his last race out. And nice speed figure. Stretching out here, although the horse has gone a mile and a half back in October last year, but looks like his horses should do all right at the distance. Has won at the distance in one race, so and also has done well here at Del Mar. So I'm going to go with the Gold Phoenix here at 3-1. Right?
Yeah. Once again, I'm right next to you, actually, Steve. 11. I'm on the outside again.
No.
Cash equity, 15-1. Just taking a shot here. Hopefully he'll get his feet up there. Man. But he has run last year. He ran a few distance races. It wasn't so bad. He won a mile and 8, fifth mile and a half, fourth a mile and a quarter. So he can get the distance. It's just a matter of how fast he is. Last time he was just actually flying. I mean, went from 11th to 5th, past 6 horses in a stretch at a mile, and maybe just finding his stride. So 15-1. Michael Dubb, I know him. He's a pretty decent owner, and get some horses to run. So
Well, that's Madigan Stables too.
Madigan Stable, yeah, they show up. When they show up, they mean business. But his horse has to definitely improve, and maybe he'll get the good pace, and DeSomo can get him up there. So he's great. So it'll be easy to follow him. Cash equity, number 11. Bomb.
All right. Take a look at what we've got there for you guys. And again, we do have a 4th player. His name is Joe English. Did not make it into the tournament tonight, but we may receive a text message with his picks before the start of racing and tomorrow. Everything okay, guys?
Yeah.
That's
right.
good.
Let me go ahead and I'll come on back to you, and we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. All right. So we're heading into Labor Day weekend. We will be back. We're going to have one more show this weekend. Probably, I would think, maybe on Sunday if we can at some point in time to go ahead and we'll handicap that final Labor Day Monday, and that'll be the final racing day for this particular tournament, which again is called the Summer Stakes. And I'll try and put together our racing calendar. I have a feeling we'll be right back on again next week for you, and have another tournament for you. Ray, Steve, got anything you want to add before we sign off for the evening?
No. Just
No,
enjoy your weekend. Have a safe weekend.
Yeah, great. Yeah, everybody enjoyed
Enjoy the long weekend.
enjoy the long weekend.
Yeah, rest
All
up.
all right. Well, for Ray Torado and Steve Newsom, my name is Rich Sharp. Our show is called Tournament Horse Racing. We're on every week. Good night, everybody, and good luck.
Night.
Bye.